Have you ever found yourself standing next to someone who, on the surface, seems perfectly friendly, polite in speech, smiling at the right moments, even offering occasional compliments, but something inside you whispers, "Something's not right"? That gut feeling, that quiet discomfort you can't quite explain, may not be your imagination. Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers in the study of the human psyche, introduced a powerful concept known as the shadow. This refers to the parts of ourselves that we deny, repress, or ignore, often aspects we deem unacceptable or shameful. While we may succeed in keeping these hidden from our conscious awareness, they tend to seep out unconsciously, especially in how we interact with others. When someone harbors negative feelings toward you, envy, resentment, or even hatred, but doesn't express them openly, they often find subtle ways to let those feelings show. Today, we'll explore 5 of the 8 unmistakable signs that someone close to you may not be as supportive or kind as they appear. These signs are often cloaked in humor, concern, or silence. But if you pay close attention, the truth reveals itself. Number 1. Sign: contempt disguised as irony. Humor is a powerful social tool. It brings people together, breaks tension, and lightens the mood. But sometimes it's used as a weapon. One of the clearest signs of hidden hostility is sarcasm, or irony directed at your vulnerabilities. These jokes often focus on sensitive areas: your appearance, your goals, your intelligence, or your past. The speaker might say, "Relax, it's just a joke," or "You're too sensitive," but deep down you feel it's not really humor, it stings. The discomfort you feel isn't without reason. Repeatedly targeting your weak spots with ironic remarks is not playful teasing, it's a form of emotional undermining. Jung believed that what we repress within ourselves often leaks out through projection. When someone uses irony to cut you down, they may be projecting their own unacknowledged insecurities. Reflection: think about people in your life whose humor leaves you feeling diminished rather than uplifted. Are there patterns in the subjects they joke about? Do they react defensively when you express discomfort? Number 2. Sign: hidden sabotage. Support should feel like an anchor, not a trap. But if you find someone in your circle consistently, accidentally, leaving out information, giving advice that leads you astray, or failing to follow through on promises when it matters most, you might be facing covert sabotage. This type of behavior is especially dangerous because it wears a mask of innocence. They might say, "Oh, I completely forgot," or "I didn't think it was that important." But over time, these coincidences have a pattern. They slow your progress, disrupt your plans, or create unnecessary stress. Why would someone sabotage you? Jung wrote that when a person is unwilling to face their own failures or feelings of inferiority, they may unconsciously try to drag others down to maintain a fragile sense of self-worth. You becoming successful can feel threatening to someone who hasn't dealt with their inner shadow. Reflection: have you noticed repeated mistakes from someone at key moments in your life? Have you ever wondered if someone's help always seems to come with a catch? Number 3. Sign: silent competition. You share good news, expecting a genuine congratulations, but instead, they talk about themselves. You mention a recent win at work, and they respond with their own achievements. Over time, every conversation starts to feel like a silent scorecard. This is the 3rd sign: a hidden rivalry wrapped in casual conversation. Unlike friendly encouragement or mutual inspiration, silent competition feels draining. There's a subtle shift in energy. When you share something good, they can't seem to celebrate you without needing to match or surpass your experience. This behavior is rooted in insecurity. People who feel they're less than often can't celebrate others without feeling inferior. Jung's theory of shadow projection fits perfectly here. They see in you something they crave or fear they lack, and they can't sit with that discomfort, so they compete. Reflection. Do you feel uplifted or deflated after sharing your accomplishments with a particular person? Do you sense that your joy makes them uneasy? Number 4. Sign superficial support. There's a kind of support that's all words and no action. You know the type. The person who says, "I'm here for you," but disappears when things get tough, or worse, remains emotionally distant during your big moments. True support feels steady, sincere, and engaged. Superficial support, on the other hand, often feels like going through the motions. Maybe they offer a quick congrats with little eye contact. Maybe they change the subject or appear distracted. When you talk about something meaningful to you, this is often a defense mechanism. Jung referred to ego dissociation as a way people avoid connecting too deeply with others, especially when those others represent something they struggle with internally. In this case, your growth might make them feel more aware of their own stagnation. Reflection. Who in your life shows up when it matters, not just with words, but with presence and attention? Who always seems unavailable when you need emotional or moral support? Number 5. Sign. Control disguised as caring. The final sign in this part is one of the trickiest to recognize. Control hidden behind concern. This person may constantly offer advice you never asked for. They question your choices, criticize your methods, and express doubts about your ability, all under the guise of, "I just care about you." On the surface, this can seem loving, but the emotional residue it leaves behind is very different from true support. If someone's guidance consistently makes you doubt yourself or feel smaller, it's not about your well-being. It's about their need for control. According to Jung, this need often comes from internal chaos. People who struggle to manage their own emotions or lives may try to control others to regain a sense of order. By guiding your life, they avoid confronting the disorder in their own. Reflection. Ask yourself, does this person's advice help you grow or keep you dependent? Do you feel more confident or more unsure after talking to them? We have explored the first 5 signs of hidden hostility cloaked beneath friendliness. We uncovered how sarcasm, subtle sabotage, unspoken competition, superficial support, and control masked as concern may all be clues that someone around you doesn't have your best interests at heart. Now we turn to 3 of the most deceptive and damaging signs that can quietly erode your confidence, your relationships, and even your sense of self, unless you learn to see them for what they are. These final clues live in gossip, the inability to share in your joy, and the language of the body, the unspoken truth no mask can fully hide. Number 6. Sign, gossip, and indirect criticism. Few things are more damaging than words spoken behind your back. Gossip, especially when it comes from someone you consider close, is one of the clearest signals of hidden resentment. People who harbor negative feelings toward you often avoid direct confrontation. Instead, they express their hostility through whispers and third-party conversations. They share distorted stories, exaggerated flaws, or half-truths meant to paint you in a poor light, all while maintaining a friendly face when you're near. You may not hear the gossip firsthand. Instead, you'll notice the fallout. Friends acting cold without explanation. Colleagues suddenly keeping their distance. A subtle change in the atmosphere when you enter a room. It's like walking into a space where something has already been said, something you weren't part of. This tactic is especially cruel because it's hard to defend against. The damage happens when you're not even present. As Jung noted, this behavior often stems from deep-seated insecurity. People who feel weak or small within themselves may try to undermine others as a way to feel bigger, more important, or more in control. Reflection. Have people around you changed how they treat you without any clear reason? Has someone close to you ever slipped and revealed they've discussed you with others behind your back? Tip. Trust the shift in energy around you. When others' behavior changes with no clear explanation, gossip may be the hidden current. Number 7. Sign. Lack of joy in your successes. True friends rejoice when you win. They're the ones who cheer for you loudly, even if they're going through tough times themselves. But someone who resents you consciously or unconsciously will struggle to show happiness for your achievements. This is one of the most painful signs to witness, because it strikes at your need for shared joy and affirmation. You finally land that new job, relationship, opportunity, or simply share something you're proud of, and instead of celebration, you're met with lukewarm acknowledgement, a quick change of topic, or subtle efforts to diminish your news. They might say things like, "Well, it's not that impressive. Anyone could have done that. I've done something similar but bigger." What hurts the most is not their words, but the absence of real joy. You can feel it. The smile doesn't reach their eyes. The enthusiasm is hollow. Sometimes they don't even try to hide the discomfort. Jung described this inability to celebrate others as a mirror of internal conflict. To them, your success is a reminder of what they lack. It threatens their self-image. It activates their shadow. Reflection. Is there someone whose mood seems to dim when you shine? Do you hesitate to share your good news around certain people because of how they react? Tip. Pay attention to patterns. A single missed celebration might be circumstantial, but if someone always reacts with indifference or envy, take note. Number 8. Sign. Nonverbal tension and subtle signals. This final sign is the most insidious of all because it doesn't involve words at all. The body, as Jung said, does not lie. When someone secretly resents you, their true feelings leak out through posture, gestures, facial expressions, and tone. They may say all the right things, but their body says otherwise. Their smile feels forced. Their eyes avoid yours at key moments. Their tone tightens when giving you a compliment. Their hands clench, or they subtly roll their eyes when they think you aren't looking. You may not catch it with your conscious mind, but you feel it. There's a flicker of coldness in a hug, a lack of warmth in their gaze, or a stiffness in their presence that tells you something is off. Nonverbal cues are powerful because they bypass logic. You don't need evidence or reasons. You simply know. Jung believed the unconscious mind expresses itself most honestly through the body, especially when the conscious mind is trying to suppress the truth. Examples of nonverbal red flags: an unnatural laugh that doesn't match the situation, delayed or minimal physical responses to your good news, subtle distancing, stepping back, turning away during conversation, unnatural pauses or silences after you speak. Reflection. Have you ever felt coldness or insincerity in someone's touch, smile, or presence, despite their kind words? Tip: trust your instincts. Your body and subconscious pick up signals your rational mind may dismiss. If someone always leaves you feeling a bit off, that feeling might be telling you the truth. Bringing it together. Hostility, when masked by smiles and politeness, can be hard to recognize. But your intuition, your internal compass, senses what the mind may overlook. The 8 signs we've covered are not meant to breed paranoia, but to sharpen your awareness. If someone close to you consistently shows these behaviors, it may be time to evaluate the nature of the relationship. You deserve connections that uplift, not diminish you. You deserve honesty, not manipulation. And most of all, you deserve to be surrounded by people whose support feels real, warm, and unwavering. Now that we've uncovered the 8 signs of concealed hostility, from sarcastic jabs and passive sabotage to emotional detachment and the telltale signs in body language, you may be asking yourself a more difficult question. What now? Recognizing that someone close to you may be harboring resentment, envy, or even hate beneath a friendly exterior is unsettling. It can shake your trust, leave you doubting your own perceptions, or even cause guilt for suspecting someone's motives. But awareness is power. As Carl Jung taught, what remains unconscious controls us, until we bring it into consciousness. In this final part, we'll explore how to respond when you sense hostility beneath the surface, not with revenge, paranoia, or bitterness, but with clarity, strength, and self-respect. Step 1. Trust your intuition. Without jumping to conclusions, first and foremost, believe yourself. The discomfort, the tension, the strange shift in energy, it's real. Your nervous system picks up thousands of subtle cues that your conscious mind may not fully process. If someone consistently leaves you feeling small, drained, or uncertain, that matters. But trusting your gut doesn't mean making accusations or labeling someone as toxic too quickly. Instead, treat your intuition as a signal to observe more closely. Watch for patterns, not isolated incidents. Reflect on how you feel after interactions. Pay attention to whether this person's behavior matches their words. Not all subtle hostility is malicious. Sometimes, people aren't aware of the way their inner wounds spill into relationships. You can still protect yourself without assuming the worst. Step 2. Name the dynamic, if only to yourself. Naming the behavior is powerful. You don't have to confront the person yet. Start by acknowledging what's happening within you. Try this journal prompt. When I'm around person's name, I often feel. This simple sentence can uncover a great deal. Do you feel belittled, controlled, ignored, patronized, anxious? Next, identify the dynamic. Is it competition, passive aggression, conditional support, emotional withdrawal? Labeling the behavior helps you detach from the confusion and reclaim perspective. As Jung emphasized, when we bring unconscious material into the light, we are no longer helplessly caught in its web. Awareness interrupts the pattern. Step 3. Protect your energy with boundaries. Once you've recognized a pattern of subtle hostility, boundaries become essential. A boundary isn't an attack. It's a clear signal of where your emotional safety begins and ends. If someone repeatedly uses sarcasm to insult you, you might say, "That topic is off limits, please don't joke about it. I know you say it's just teasing, but it doesn't feel respectful." If their reaction is to mock you further or turn it into a joke, you've received confirmation. Some people feel entitled to violate your emotional space. hold the boundary anyway. For more covert behaviors, like competition or superficial support, you may need energetic boundaries rather than verbal ones. This can look like sharing less of your personal news, creating emotional distance, reducing your availability for conversations or favors. Boundaries aren't meant to punish others. They're meant to protect your peace. Step 4. Choose your response. Confront or detach. Not every situation calls for confrontation, but some do. If this person is a close friend, partner, or family member, and if you believe there's still trust to rebuild, a gentle but honest conversation might open space for healing. Try using I language to avoid defensiveness. Lately, I've felt a weird tension when I share good news. I'm wondering if something's going unsaid between us. I value our relationship, but sometimes I feel judged instead of supported, and I want to understand what's going on. Be ready for pushback or denial. Not everyone is ready to face their shadow. But if the person doubles down, denies your experience, or deflects the issue, that tells you everything you need to know. In some cases, detachment is the healthier path. You don't need to announce a dramatic goodbye. Sometimes silently stepping back, spending less time with the person, and removing them from your inner circle is the most respectful thing you can do for yourself and for them. Step 5. Reflect on your own shadow. This step is just as important. Turn inward. Jung emphasized that we all carry a shadow, not just those who hurt us. That includes you and me. When you recognize the shadow in others, ask yourself gently, what part of me is activated by this? Do I carry any unresolved envy, fear, or insecurity? This isn't about blaming yourself, but about owning your emotional world. The more you acknowledge your own shadow, the more clearly you'll see others' behavior for what it is, without projecting or overreacting. This self-work deepens your boundaries, strengthens your intuition, and keeps you rooted in integrity. Step 6. Surround yourself with aligned people. As you clear space from subtly hostile relationships, you make room for true connections, people who celebrate your wins without needing to outshine you, offer support without conditions or hidden motives, speak truth with kindness, not disguised contempt. Respect your boundaries instead of pushing past them. These relationships heal the damage done by hidden hostility. They restore your sense of safety and remind you what real connection feels like. Discovering that someone close to you harbors hidden hostility can be painful. It challenges your judgment, stirs your emotions, and may leave you grieving the version of that relationship you once believed in. But it can also be freeing. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. By bringing light to what was hidden, you take back your power. You learn to trust yourself again. You honor your feelings, your boundaries, and your right to be treated with dignity. Let go of what doesn't serve you. Keep growing into the version of yourself who doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. That version of you doesn't just see clearly, they live freely. Thank you for following this journey through the hidden shadows of the human heart. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, your peace is worth protecting.